What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen that's how it's going down. Make sure you hit the like button and that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. If y'all didn't go see my video yesterday, make sure y'all go check it out. Really, this whole week, it's been a lot of information that's been put out. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely been a lot of information that's been put out. You got right here Reverend Jordan Wells, definitely a good guy. You know, definitely a cool guy. Put out some amazing information. So if y'all want to go check him out, definitely do that. Says right here they're lying about Karmelo Anthony. And Pastor Jordan Wells, he had a lot to say within this on Newsmax. Let's check it out.
Half of the black people who could have been on the jury canceled themselves out. When you go up there, say, no, I have never heard about this case. I can be fair. Say that, okay? And then mean it, believe it a little bit. So don't go in there and act like all of a sudden you have to be the most honest person you've ever been.
So, Reverend, these women are encouraging people to lie just so they can get on a jury and rig the conviction. What do you think about them making this about a racial issue?
I'm going to say this before you say anything. For people to do that and to lie and to do things like that, let me tell y'all something. What bothers me so much, I'm going to say this and I'll play a video. Just know if y'all don't like talking, I'm going to have a lot to say within this, most likely. I'm not even going to lie. Usually when I put out these videos that have to do within this case, they're usually 25, 30 minutes. I'm being 100 with y'all. But it's good information, I feel like. First thing is first. I'm going to say this, and like I said, I'm going to play the video. My thing is, all this energy that they putting in, going out in the streets, protesting, saying this, saying that. When I'm saying they, mostly obviously majority of the black folks that supporting Karmelo Anthony. I'm not saying that all do. Believe it or not, y'all see the color of my skin. And I feel like, and I know in my head, having that common sense, he was in the wrong for what he did. And honestly, I thought it was gonna be worse. I thought it was gonna be more so 50 range, 50 years. But he got 35, and they still complaining about it. Guess what? Like I've explained time and time again, he can eat, he's getting up, he's walking, he's talking, he playing things. I mean, he's in prison, but I'm sure they have TVs, they have tablets, he can talk to his parents, all of that. What's the deal? I mean, honestly, like, what's the deal? And more, that's just some of the stuff. And I'm not saying that prison is a fun place, but to be fair and to be real with y'all, not to make this sound bad at all, but I mean, look at him. He's doing, obviously things, and he's and I'm not trying to make it sound good, but like, bro, what are we talking about? Back to what I was saying though. You have all these individuals that go protest. They say crazy things online with posting, editing, doing whatever they want to. They're having these podcasts of telling people they need to do this and do that. They're doing all these things. Where in the hell is all of the energy when it comes down to not only for the black teens that are doing, man, I literally just seen about 3 or 4 things that happened in Indianapolis involving black teens, involving that black on black crime. When does it come a time to where people actually stand up for our children, for your children, and I'm just speaking on all teens. I'm speaking on young adults. Like, when is that time going to be? When people actually speak more positive, when they actually do more positive. I'm not saying, let's have this community cookout and bring everybody together. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about consistent. I'm talking about consistency. Straight. We need to do this. This needs to be in order. We got to get this together. We need to see where everybody head. Everybody mental ain't there. Everybody not growing up with fathers, regardless of what race you are. But again, since this is a black kid doing this, and you have majority of the black people talking, why not try to put that main focus on your kids, on other kids in the community? I feel like that's definitely something that's definitely important to do. But no, they rather play victim. You playing victim, and they saying that, he didn't. But like, what are y'all not getting? He did this to somebody. Horrible. I gotta watch what I say on here, y'all. I know I literally had to comment and say, because I said passed away. I can't say what y'all obviously, but I agree with y'all. I know, you know what Karmelo did. But I'm just saying, why not put all the energy into that? It's sickening to me.
The jury found him, this Karmelo Anthony, and it's a tragedy. He was 17, now he's 19. Austin Metcalf, 17 years old. These two lives, it's just, and Austin and gone over what? And you have the family perpetuating Karmelo as the victim here.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And, you know, the thing is, if this was, I said it before, if there were two black people on this case or two white people on this case, it would, first of all, if there was two black people, black community wouldn't even care. The only time black people care about anything is when it's with a white person. But yet we have 30, 40 killings in Chicago every weekend. We have black on black crime. We got kids getting shot. My mom calls me every day from Indianapolis, and people are getting shot at. Black people are shooting each other in churches, and nobody.
Where's Reverend Jordan Wells from? I'm being dead serious. Jordan Wells is from here. That'd be crazy. That is wild if he's from here. I don't really know where he's from and stuff like that, but one thing about it is that I literally just say Indianapolis. I'm on the outskirts of Indianapolis. I'm not in Indianapolis, but I told y'all heard it from me. This, and mind y'all, I'm being so for real. I haven't seen this video. I seen a couple seconds of it, making sure, you know, it wasn't that whole podcast to see if, you know, obviously he was talking and, you know, seeing it he is, because I like seeing these videos with y'all. But I promise y'all heard it from me and y'all just heard it from Jordan Wells. Indianapolis, I'm not about to say it's the worst place, but you truly see that crime each and every day. Like, I tell y'all, like, throughout the day, most of y'all got the Citizen app. Y'all will literally see so many shootings and stuff that happen involving black teens. I'm not playing.
We got kids getting shot. My mom calls me every day from Indianapolis, and people are getting shot at. Black people are shooting each other in churches. And nobody in the black community, the D.L. Hugleys, the Cardi B's, none of them care when it's black on black crime. But the only thing they care about is when a white person is involved. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the outrage. I'm tired of being emotionally pimped by the left and the Democratic Party because they only can win elections because they know African Americans are emotional. My friend on the other side, he could tell you, we're emotional people. We go to church and we shout. We don't know what the sermon's about. We vote for Democrat 80, 90% of the time, and we don't even know what policies are. When Kamala announced she was running for office, most people said, I'm with her, and they didn't even know what her policies was. So that's what the black community does. We stand on emotion and not fact, and this case was built on fact. The true fact of the case was that that Karmelo Anthony brought a knife to school. He shouldn't have had the knife on the school. It was not self-defense. He stabbed that man in cold blood, and he was lucky that he got 35 years and did not get 99 years. That is the truth.
Amen. Amen. We got to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank
Real
you both.
talk.
We'll get you back. Thank you.
That's real talk, though. I mean, it's no way about it. You know, it's no around. It's what Karmelo did at the end of the day. And again, I'm not even gonna lie. At having Karmelo on what he did, there shouldn't be no fuss. There should be no fighting. There should be no talking. It's one of those cases. You have that open case of what he did, just like that. Close immediately. It's nothing else. It's nothing else to it. And for the people that's saying that he got jumped and this, that, and the other, that's not true either. Y'all can look that up. This is something that people are going to continue to do. This is something I know will go on for a minute, that I'll be covering, because and it's truly sad that obviously that we even have to keep talking about this and dealing with it, because like I said, it's closed. Like, it's done. Like, it's nothing. I don't know, again, why he's going and having an appeal. I don't understand nothing. I promise y'all I don't. I promise y'all I don't. It's nothing else to it. And for him to have that mentality and get taught that mentality is completely disgusting. I'm telling y'all. Y'all had it right here. Austin Metcalf's father, you know, on, you know, his message. And it's pretty clear. Check it out.
Yeah. Take accountability. First of all, you've never said, the boy never, ever showed remorse. Never apologized. The Anthony family decided to kick me out of a press conference instead of I was there to show the world we could come together. This is not a race issue.
No.
But what they do, they chose that path. I didn't choose it.
You guys are getting.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, you're getting threatened by supporters of the killer. I mean, what the hell is that? And what's your response to it?
Look, you're all responsible for two things in your whole life. You only control two things. That's it. It's your attitude and your actions. Outside of this little circle, nothing. You control nothing. It's all noise. So if someone chooses to be that way, that's a reflection of their character. Has nothing to do with me. Yeah. When I go to heaven, I feel that my faith and the way I have conducted myself to the best of my ability, I'm not perfect. No, I'm human. I have anger, rage, emotions. And at the end of the day, I feel like I will get into heaven and sit beside Austin, and then I will have understanding.
And that's deep.
But for people to lower themselves and show the moral decay of society, to take a dead child and make memes and derogatory terms just because you're trying to defend someone who murdered him. I don't understand the concept, or what are you teaching our future children?
Exactly.
Because I'm only going to be here probably maybe 20, 30 more years.
Yeah.
But I'm more concerned about the future of our children. Those are our leaders. Those are the people that they're going to carry on after I'm gone. What does that future look like? What are we teaching them?
Yeah.
Well, one thing about it, I can tell y'all right now that all we can do is be for the ones that have that common sense, is to continue to do what we need to do. And, as being better parents. I'm not going to say great parents, perfect parents, because I don't feel like it's no such thing as that. Of being perfect. We all make mistakes. We all live and learn. We still learning. I'm still learning. I'm 28 with 2 kids. 28 with a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I'm still learning every day. I'm not going to say I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it's at times, I have to, to call my parents and, ask them different things, but, you kind of, you learn a little bit. But you also teach them, things. And it's definitely important for me to be in their lives and for me to talk to them and for me to explain to them, different things. Me and their mom, we could have a disagreement with things and arguing. Even though they're 5 and 2, of letting them know that everything's okay. You have to I feel like it's so important to let your kids know. I'm not saying to be completely soft, because I'm a parent that's obviously I'm that tough love. Even if me having daughters, and obviously you gotta be a little softer with daughters, obviously, but it's just that parent. When you hear dad speaking, it's more. I feel old, bro. Like, what? You hear dad speaking, I feel old. Anyways, when you hear that, get everything aligned. I feel like with that being said, like, it's definitely important to be in your kid's life. It's definitely important to teach them, to show them. I feel like, you have Karmelo Anthony's parents and they say, oh, well, his dad, well, he was a good kid and we did this and we did that and we had this going on. I can just tell y'all right now, it was more so pro-black than anything. It wasn't more so of because, you a human being, this human being. Like, it's more so of only like this certain group of people. And I say that, and it's more so, I'm not even assuming. Y'all gotta think. What he said in that interview gave everything away. It gave everything away. He's in his mindset that, the first thing, we was looking to get black lawyers. When a person says that, it goes to show you right there, it's always, it's race with them. They pro-black. It's race with them. It's race with them. And that goes for anybody. Any color you aim for a specific, you need a good lawyer. You need a good person, a great lawyer. Don't base them off of that race. And that's the first thing he said. And I knew right there, okay, yeah. That's obviously what he's teaching. That's what he got right there. And then when you have that, and he's teaching that, It's not teaching. That's not right for your kids. And on top of that, not even Karmelo, they have other kids. And I'm not telling nobody how to raise their kids. I'm not telling them how to raise their kids. But I'm glad that me and you that's watching this, and I don't know how everybody run their household and what they doing, but I pray that, you continue to teach your kids right from wrong, because that's what's important. I feel that's what's important when it comes down to it. Right from wrong and is good and is evil. I mean, that's literally, I mean, it's as simple as it gets. And there's obviously more to it, but having that, and then especially in this case, you look at that rather than you looking at color. It's not teaching what they're doing with these Karmelo Anthony supporters. That's not teaching kids nothing. That's not teaching the kids that's coming. It's not teaching them nothing. And it's sickening that they even doing this. But I'm glad that there's other kids, there's other parents that's teaching their kids, of what not to do. And, I truly love that. I mean, I don't know, what the future holds. But one thing about it is that I know for a fact, I don't know why this iPad just dropped. I know for a fact that it starts with the parents. Check it out more from Austin Metcalf's dad.
What do you think this young man whose parents are so forcefully defending him, saying that he was simply defending himself, which is outrageous when you look at the actual testimony in the case. What do you think he was trying to do that day?
Well, this is the big question I have. If you're claiming self-defense,
why he ain't get on the stand?
If I was being accused of something and I was claiming self-defense, I would want to get on the stand and tell my story.
Exactly.
I would want to explain exactly what was in my mind, what I was thinking, and why I reacted in the way I did.
Yeah.
He chose not to. That says a lot. Maybe it was on the advice of attorneys. I don't know, but we'll never know the answer because he was never asked the question of why. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to throw his parents under the bus. Right. Their character can speak for themselves. They can conduct themselves in however they choose to. I understand it's their son, but you need to teach your son about accountability.
Exactly.
And they're deflecting.
No accountability whatsoever. The parents not even holding themselves accountable for what they've said, for what they've did, even to their own son. So they're not going to do it to nobody else. They ain't doing it for themselves. They absolutely not. Absolutely not. And like he said, why didn't he take the stand? Definitely. You have right here from the New York Post, says Karmelo Anthony judge weighs in on a jury verdict. And literally, makes a shocking comment, about it all. Show y'all a couple clips here from Judge John Roach. Check it out right here.
Presided over Karmelo Anthony's murder trial is speaking out, defending some of the decisions he made on the bench, including not allowing cameras in the courtroom.
I have seen from other cases around the country where cameras in the courtroom changed the way that the judge acted, the lawyers acted, some of the witnesses acted, and we were not going to have that here. We were going to really isolate the purpose for which we were here for, which is to have that fair trial. Cameras in the courtroom did not enter into that equation.
Anthony was sentenced to 35 years after being found guilty of murdering 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a track meet in Texas last year. He will have to serve at least half of that sentence before being eligible for parole.
So, I understand now. At first, I didn't really understand, when it came down to the cameras. I respected it, though. I respected it. But I didn't really understand. But now I do. And it makes sense. I definitely feel as if, having those cameras there, especially on the way that his parents acted, Dominique Alexander having his team on the way that they acted, I definitely feel like the way that things were handled without cameras and the way that things would have handled with cameras would have been a totally different case. It'd have been totally different. I feel like this went, I ain't gonna say rather smooth, but I'm gonna say that it was better than what it would have been if they had cameras going. Me personally, the way that they acted, what they did, so I can definitely respect what he's saying. I'm not even gonna lie. Says right here, New York Post, House Dems claim race jury selection may have played a role in Karmelo Anthony's verdict. You literally have Judge John Roach that weighs in more on that. Check it out.
The racial makeup of the jury to someone that was questioning it.
Well, I've heard a lot that said there were no blacks on the jury, and I believe that fact is true. But it was a very diverse jury, and other cultures and other races and stuff. And so I really didn't pay attention to it, really, because that's not the job, right? Is to manufacture some look of a jury or the makeup of a jury. But I thought it was a good cross-section of Collin County, and again, they did their job, and I think they took their oath very seriously, no matter what their background.
Taking their oath very seriously, because there were many that didn't, and looked at some fact. I can't send a brother to jail. That's one of them. What an individual that got taken off or they didn't pick because he said that. I can't see another brother go to. Well, look what he did. Me personally. That's wild. A lot of this is just wild to me. It truly is. Check it out, New York
Judge
Post.
John Roach, who oversaw the trial of Karmelo Anthony, is speaking out for the first time since the teen killer was convicted last week, a guilty verdict that sparked protests along racial lines in Texas. Now, he was asked if he thought the jurors did the right thing, sending Anthony to jail for 35 years in the killing of high school football star Austin Metcalf. He said they did. As for what he thought about the young defendant, here is what he told local news station WFAA.
He seems like a nice young man who committed a crime. And he understands today, more than any day before today, the consequences of committing a crime like he did.
Judge Roach also weighed in on the viral nature of the racially charged case. It became a bit of a media circus, as well as the criticism that he faced when blocking cameras from the proceedings.
I know I made people mad, but I'm not here to make them happy either.
Anthony has already filed a notice to appeal his conviction.
I'm telling y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. There's one thing about it that, and I told everybody from the get-go that I know for a fact that, Judge John Roach was gonna have things fair. And honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Things could have went worse. Things definitely could have went worse. When I say worse, I mean he could have got way more years. But you obviously see that they are not letting a lot go when it comes down, obviously, to his supporters. Karmelo Anthony's so-called team, which I'm not really hearing much about them. Dominique Alexander will put a video out pretty soon, of him lying. But his parents or Karmelo Anthony in general. More from Jeff Metcalf and on Karmelo Anthony supporters. Check it out.
Why aren't these people grasping that justice was served here?
You'd have to ask them. My opinion is they are of low IQ, no moral compass whatsoever, blinded by race, and generally a nuisance to society.
Jeff, you've said you forgave Karmelo Anthony after he took your son's life. Tell me about that. What was going through your mind, your heart, your soul on that?
Well, I've said this multiple times over in many interviews. Forgiveness is actually for me, so I don't carry the hate, the rage, the anger, because if you carry something like that inside you and you don't release it, it's like cancer. It's going to eat you up from the inside out. It's going to consume you. And I'll be honest, look at these people. Are they consumed with, everyone has a right to protest. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But realistically, let's look at the facts. Let's look at the case. They have the right for an appeal. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. This case was ironclad. And people don't understand, in the appeals, they're looking for procedural errors. They're not going to retry the case. They're not going to introduce new evidence. There's not any new testimony or new facts that are going to come out when they review this case for appeal. So, but the actions of these people outside the courthouse, I don't have to say a word. Their character shows through, and that's all I'll say. And to be honest, every video I've seen is a certain demographic. I don't see other people acting like this, but that's who they choose to be. As long as they stay in their lane, I'm okay. Just don't come in my lane.
Jeff, thank you for saying that.
Let me tell y'all something. It ain't all. It ain't all black folks. I'm gonna be real. It ain't all. I gotta let y'all know that. Check it out.
It was not Austin's fault. And can I just give a shout out to all of the students that actually testified, because they actually had to witness that murder on April 2nd. And then they had to go up there and tell the truth on the stand.
Right? And it was such a racially diverse witness box. So everything else going on outside, inside there, the ones telling the truth and caring about the facts and the evidence was kids of every color.
Yes. And God bless them, because they had to deal with so much. Some of those kids had never even stepped foot in a court before.
And like I've said, she said some of those kids have never stepped in a court before. Some of those kids have never been put in that situation before. So a lot of that can be traumatizing. Like I was explaining before, I've been in a situation like that. And it was my first time being in a situation like that. Not only dealing with a situation, but being in court too. Having to hear 911 calls. Having to hear cries and sniffles and yelling and arguing. It bothers you. Even if it doesn't bother you now, it can come years later, which happened to me. And you can have that. So I definitely pray for those kids. They're strong kids for getting on that stand and letting that truth, get out there.
And they had to go up there and testify. And so we need to just cover them and pray for them as well. Pray for the families. But you reap what you sow. And Karmelo, you were wrong. He was wrong for that. I ran track my entire life, and I also have a twin. And you do not just randomly sit under people's tents, and you don't stay when you're asked to leave. So no, they're ignoring the facts, but we cannot sit up there and blame Austin for his death.
And like I've explained, I explained to many people. When you have, whether if it's any competitions, cheerleading, track and field, gymnastics, even basketball tournaments, 7-on-7s with football. When your team gathers somewhere and y'all stuff is somewhere and somebody that doesn't belong is in y'all area, typically you'll be asked, this is our stuff. We don't really know you, man. They ain't trying to or if they tell you you gotta move, you gotta go. That's just something you do. You should obviously feel uncomfortable anyways. Not being, within your team, within your school, any of that. And obviously, I'm pretty sure he wasn't even invited to the event. Anyways, but a friend called him. Regardless if a friend calls you and they cool up under the tent, you still have to leave. You should still feel uncomfortable. You shouldn't sit there and do what you did, regardless. And that's why, to me, it's a case closed. You got it right here. Karmelo Anthony on live, Austin Metcalf. He got 35 years. And, the question is asked, should he spend the rest of his life behind bars? Y'all let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.